Educate yourself daily. Imagine two people, both wake up tomorrow morning, both are given the same 24 hours, the same sunrise for them, the same world around them. But 10 years later, their lives look completely different. One person struggles financially, feels stuck, feels behind. The other is confident, financially stable, respected, free. What created the difference? Not luck, not talent, not family background. The difference was learning. One person stopped learning after school, the other educated themselves every single day. And this truth is becoming more powerful with every passing year. Today, we live in the fastest changing world in human history. Technology is evolving, industries are transforming, artificial intelligence is reshaping work. The skills that mattered yesterday may not matter tomorrow, and the people who survive are not the strongest, not the richest, but the fastest learners. The world today rewards one type of person above all others, the person who educates themselves daily. Someone who reads, someone who listens, someone who studies new ideas, someone who improves their thinking. Because education today is no longer locked inside the schools or universities. It lives in books, in podcasts, in audiobooks, in online courses, in YouTube videos. The entire knowledge of humanity is now in your pocket. But there is sad truth. Most people do not use it. They scroll, they watch entertainment, they waste hours every day. While a small percent of people use the exact same internet to transform their lives. And those people are quietly building massive advantage. Because daily learning compounds just like money, just like interest, just like habit. A small amount every day became something extraordinary over time. This audiobook will show you how to educate yourself daily. Not in a complicated way, but in a simple system anyone can follow. You will learn how the world rewards learners, how to use your 24 hours intelligently, how to read books effectively, how to learn from podcasts and audiobooks, how to use YouTube and online courses correctly, and most importantly, how to turn knowledge into real power because knowledge alone is not enough. Applied knowledge changes lives. So, if you are ready, let's begin. Chapter 1. The world rewards the learner and punishes the stagnant. Let me tell you a story. A man named Ravi graduated from college at 22. He got a decent job. His salary was average, but he was happy. From the first few years, life felt stable. Every month he worked, he got paid. But Ravi believed something that millions of people believe. He thought his education was finished, school was over, college was over, so learning was over. After work, he relaxed, watched television, scrolled social media, met friends. Years passed, 5 years later, 10 years later, and slowly, sometimes started changing. New technology entered his industry. Automation replaced some roles. Younger employees joined the company. They knew new tools, new systems, new software. They learned faster, adapted faster. And one day, Ravi realized something terrifying. The world had moved forward, but he had not. Meanwhile, there was another person in the same company. Her name was Aisa. She started in the same role, same salary, same experience, but she had no rule for herself. Learn something every day. Every day she read for 20 minutes, listen to podcasts during the travel, watch education videos, took online courses. Little by little, her knowledge expanded, her thinking improved, her skills grew. 5 years later, she was promoted. 10 years later, she became a manager, not because she was lucky, not because she was smarter, but only she never stopped learning. This is the pattern of modern world and it is happening everywhere. The world today is divided into two groups, people who keep learning and who stops learning, and the gap between them grows larger every year. Because knowledge compounds. The person who learns 1% more every day because becomes massively more capable over time. Meanwhile, the person who stops learning slowly becomes outdated. In the past, this didn't matter as much. Decades ago, skills lasted for a long time. A machine could use the same techniques for 30 years. An accountant could rely on the same knowledge. But today, everything changes quickly. Software evolves, business model evolve, technology evolve. Even entire industries disappear. And this creates a powerful truth. Your ability to learn is now more valuable than what you already know because the future belongs to adaptive people, people who update their thinking, who improves their knowledge, who grows continuously. Look at successful entrepreneurs. Most of them are obsessive learners. They read constantly, they listen to ideas, they study people, they analyze systems, because they know something powerful. Ideas change lives. One idea can create a business, one idea can increase income, one idea can transform your mindset. And those ideas usually come from learning, books, mentors, podcasts, courses, educations. Think about this for a moment. If you improve your knowledge every single day, your future self will be unrecognizable, smarter, wiser, more capable, more valuable. But if you stop learning, the opposite happens. Your thinking becomes outdated, your skills lose value, your confidence decreases. The world does not wait, it moves forward relentlessly and it rewards those who move with it. So the question is simple: which person will you become? Ravi or Aisha? The stagnant one or the lead learner? Because the difference begins with a small habit, a habit we explore next. Chapter 2: The 24-hour knowledge formula every single day. Every human being on earth receives the same gift, 24 hours. Not more, not less. The biggest billionaires, the biggest CEO, the most successful entrepreneurs, all of them have the same time as you. So, the real difference in life is not time, it is how we use time. Let's break down a typical day. You sleep about 7 to 8 hours, you work 8 hours, leave roughly 8 hours of flexible time. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people waste most of those hours scrolling, watching random videos, mindless entertainment. Hours disappear, days disappear, years disappear. But successful learners use those hours differently. They follow what I call the 24-hour knowledge formula. A simple system, small daily input, massive long term results. Here's what it looks like: the 20 minutes reading habit. Reading 20 minutes per day may sound small, but it is powerful. Most books contain life changing ideas. If you read just 10 pages a day, you finish about 12 to 15 books every year. Think about that. Most adults read 0 books per year. So, this simple habit already puts you far ahead because books contain the compressed wisdom of experts. Someone spends 10 years learning something and you absorb their insights in a few hours. There's magic of reading. Learning during dead time. Every day contains hidden time. Waiting, walking, driving, commuting, standing in lines. These moments add up. Open 1 to 2 hours daily. Most people will fill them with social media, but learners fill them with audio learning, podcast, audiobooks, educational discussions. This transforms wasted time into learning time. Over a year, this alone can equal hundreds of hours of education without adding extra effort. The next one is focused skill practice. Knowledge is useful, but skills create opportunity. So every day you should invest time improving a skill. Coding, writing, communication, marketing, design, finance, choose something valuable. Whatever. Then practice continuously. Even 30 minutes per day creates massive growth because skill development compounds with repetition, reflection, and thinking. Learning is not only about consuming information, it's about thinking deeply. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What ideas stood out? How can I apply them? This reflection transforms information into understanding. Without reflection, knowledge fades quickly. With reflection, knowledge becomes wisdom. The magic of compounding knowledge. Let's imagine two people again. One learns 1 hour daily, the others 0 hours. After a year, the learner has 65 hours of new knowledge. After 5 years, over 1800 hours. This that is the equivalent of multiple university degree worth of learning. But this learning is practical, flexible, relevant to real life, and it costs almost nothing. This is why self education is so powerful because modern technologies removed the barriers. You don't need expensive schools, you don't need permissions, you only need curiosity, consistency, and discipline. The 24-hour knowledge formula is not about studying all day, it's about small intelligent habits reading, listening, practicing, thinking a little every day, and over time that little becomes extraordinary because education is not a one time event, it is a lifelong journey, and the people who embrace their journey build the most powerful advantage of all, a constantly evolving mind. Now, chapter 3, how to learn from books without wasting time. Many people try reading but they quit. Not because books are useless, not because they were never taught how to read properly. They open a book, start from page 1, read slowly, force themselves through every sentence, and after a day they feel tired, bored, overwhelmed. So they stop. But successful learners treat books differently. They do not read books like students, they read books like hunters. They hunt for ideas. Let me explain. Imagine walking into a giant library, thousands of books, millions of ideas, but you only have limited time. Would you read every word of every book? Of course not. You would search for most valuable insights. And that is exactly how powerful readers approach books. Step 1. Read with a purpose. Before opening any book, ask one question: why am I reading this? Are you trying to learn business, improve communication, understand psychology, build discipline? Your purpose determines how do you read. Because reading without purpose is like traveling without a destination. You move, but you don't get anywhere meaningful. When you read with purpose, your brain becomes selective. It starts notching important ideas, patterns, insights, solutions. Step 2. Scan before you dive. Great readers do not start reading immediately. They scan first. Look at the table of content. Read chapter titles. Glance at summarize. Flip through the pages. This gives you a mental map of the book. Now, when you begin reading, your brain understands the structure. It knows where important ideas might be, and learning becomes faster. Step 3. Highlight ideas, not words. Many people highlights too much, entire paragraphs, entire page, but the highlight works only when it is selective. Highlights ideas that make you pause, ideas that challenge your thinking, ideas that feel powerful, because these are insights worth remembering. Step 4. Ask questions while reading. Passive reading is weak, active reading is powerful. Instead of simply reading sentences, ask question: why does this idea work? How could I apply this? Where have I seen this in real life? Could this improve my life? Question turns reading into thinking, and thinking creates understanding. Step 5. Capture the big idea. When you finish a chapter, pause. Ask yourself, what is the one key idea from this chapter? Just one. If you can explain it in a sentence, you understood it. If you can't, you probably just read words without absorbing meaning. This simple reflection transforms reading into learning. The true power of books. Books are powerful for one simple reason. They allow you to borrow the mind of another person. A brilliant entrepreneur, a psychologist, a scientist, a philosopher. Someone who spent decades learning something and thought a book they transferred these insights to you. In just a few hours, imagine how powerful that is. You can learn from people who lived hundreds of years ago. You can learn from greatest thinkers in history. All thought reading, but only if you read correctly. Not slowly, not passively, not intentionally. Because a single powerful idea from a book can change the direction of your life. Chapter 4. Learning from podcasts and audiobooks. We live in a noisy world. People can constantly talking, constantly sharing ideas, podcasting content. But hidden inside that noise are incredible opportunities to learn. Podcasts and audiobooks have created a revolution in education because they allow you to learn while living your life, while walking, while driving, while exercising, while cooking. Moments that used to be wasted are now powerful learning opportunities, but again, most people use them incorrectly. They treat them like background noise, something playing with while their minds wanders. But real learners listen actively. They treated audio learning as a classroom. Let's talk about how to do it right. Choose high quality voices. Not all information is valuable. Some podcasts are full of opinions, speculations, entertainment disguised as knowledge. So, the first rule is simple: choose voice with real experiences. Entrepreneurs who built companies, scientists who conducted research, writers who studied re- deeply, psychologists who understand human behavior. Learn from people who actually know something meaningful, because the voice you listen to regularly slowly shapes your thinking. Create a learning playlist. Instead of randomly listening to content, build a learning playlist. Select podcasts, select audiobooks that improves specific areas of your life. Business, psychology, finance, communication, health, success leaves clues, and those clues are often hidden in conversation with experts. Listen with intent. When you press play, do not just hear words, listen carefully. Ask yourself, what is the core idea here? Why does this work? Can I apply this somewhere? If something sounds powerful, pause, think about it, replay it. Great learners treat audio learning like a conversation with a mentor. Turn travel into a classroom. Thinking about how much time people spend traveling, commuting to work, driving, walking, public transport. Over a year, this can easily equal hundreds of hours. Now, imagine transforming that time into learning time. 1 hour per day of podcast equals 365 hours per year, and more than many university courses. And you didn't even change your schedule. You simply replaced noise with knowledge. Repetition creates understanding. The most powerful ideas are worth hearing multiple times. Do not be afraid to replay episodes. Re listen to important audiobooks. Each time you hear the same concept, your brain understands it more deeply, because repetition strengthens memory and memory strengthens thinking. Podcasts and audiobooks are not just entertainments, they are mobile education systems, tiny universities in your pocket, and if used correctly, they can dramatically accelerate your growth. Chapter 5: YouTube and Online Courses, the Right Way to Learn Skills. There is a strange paradox in the modern world. The internet is the greatest educational tool ever created, but it is also the greatest distraction machine ever built. No one site you have free university level courses, expert tutorials, master classes, skill trainings. On the other hand, you have endless entertainment, endless scrolling, endless distraction, and most people fall into the second category. They open YouTube to learn something, and 2 hours later, they were watching random videos, not learning, just consuming. But disciplined learners treat the internet differently. They use it like a tool, not a toy. Step 1: define the skill you want. Before opening YouTube or an online courses platform, ask yourself, what skill am I trying to learn? Not a vague ideas, a specific skill: graphic design, programming, public speaking, marketing, video editing, writing. When your goal is clear, your brain filters content more effectively. You ignore distraction and focus only on learning. Step 2: follow structured learning. Random videos create random knowledge, but a structured learning creates real skill. Instead of jumping between videos, follow a learning path. Start with beginners lessons, then intermediate, then advanced. This structure builds strong foundation because skill grow step by step. Step 3: practice immediately. Watching tutorials feels productive, but watching is not learning. Doing is learning. After watching a lesson, practice immediately. If you learn coding, write code. If you learn design, create something. If you learn communication, practice speaking. Knowledge becomes a skill only through action. Step 4: build projects. Projects accelerate learning faster than anything else because projects force you to apply knowledge, solve problems, think creatively. For example, instead of just watching videos, editing tutorials, create a short video. Instead of watching business lectures, start a small project. Projects transform information into experience. Step 5: limit passive consumption. Many people consume learning with watching, but true learning is active. You pause, you test ideas, you experiment, you practice. So, use YouTube wisely, use courses wisely, stack the knowledge, ignore the distraction, because the internet can either steal your time or transform your future. The choice is always yours. Chapter 6: the 5 high value skills that will always be in demand. The world changes, industries rise and fall, technology evolves, jobs appear and disappear. Sometimes interesting happens throughout history. Certain skills never lose their value. These are skills that successfully people invest in because while tools change, human need remain the same. People always need communication, ideas, leadership, creativity, problem solving. If you want to educate yourself daily in a smarter way, focus on skills that will remain valuable no matter what the future looks like. Let's explore 5 of them. First one is communication. Communication is one of the most powerful skills in the world because ideas are worthless if they stay inside your mind. You must be able to express them clearly, whether you are speaking, writing, presenting, or negotiating. Every successful person understands communication. Great leaders inspire people with words. Great entrepreneurs sell ideas with words. Great teachers changes lives with words. The ability to communicate clearly can multiply your opportunities. And the beautiful thing is this skill can be learned. Read books about communication. Practice explaining ideas. Write more, speak more. Over time, your confidence will grow and your influence will grow with it. Critically thinking. The modern world is filled with information, but information alone is not valuable. The ability to analyze information is valuable. Critical thinking means asking questions. Is this true? Is there evidence? Is there any other explanation? Without critical thinking, people became easily manipulated. They believe rumors, they follow trend blindly. But critical thinkers remain calm. They observe, they analyze, they think independently. And that still makes them extremely valuable in business and leadership. Problem solving. Every company, every organization, every industry faces problems, and peoples who can solve problems became incredible valuable because problem creates opportunities. Imagine two employees. One complains about problems, the other finds solutions. Which one will you promote it? Which one will be trusted? Which one will become a leader? The problem solver. So train your mind to look for solutions when something goes wrong. Ask yourself, what can be done here? What are the options? What is the best approach? This mindset alone can transform your career. Learning how to learn. This may be the most important skill of all, the ability to learn new things quickly because the future will demand new skills again and again. Technology will change, industries will shift, and those who can adopt quickly will succeed. Learning how to learn means reading regularly, experimenting with ideas, taking courses, practicing new skills, remaining curious. Curiosity is the engage of growth. Creativity. Machines can process data, algorithms can follow rules, but creativity remains uniquely human. Creativity means combining ideas in new ways, seeing possibilities others do not see, creating solutions others never imagined. These skills drives innovations. It drives art, it drives entrepreneurship, and creates grows when you expose your mind to new ideas. Books, conversations, learning, experiences, all of this feed creativity. When you educate yourself daily, focus on high value skills because they will continue to matter no matter how much the world changes. Chapter 7, Digital and AI Literacy. We are living through a technological revolution, artificial intelligence, automation, digital tools, new platforms, new industries, and the speed of change is incredible. But here is the truth, technology is not the enemy. Ignorance of technology is the enemy. People who refuses to understand technology became fearful. They feel threatened. They use tools to multiply their productivity. They automate tasks. They solve problems faster. They create new opportunities. This is why digital literacy has become essential. Understanding the digital world. Digital literacy means understanding how technology works around you. You do not need to become a programmer, but you should understand you how digital platforms works, how online businesses operates, how information spreads on the internet, how technology affects society. This awareness makes you more intelligent in the modern world. Learning AI tools. Artificial intelligence is transforming many industries. Writing, designing, programming, marketing, research. Instead of fearing AI, learn how to use it. Use it, brainstorm ideas. Use it to improve productivity. Use it to automate repetitive work. Those who learn these tools early gain massive advantage, protecting your attention. Technology offers knowledge, but it also competes for your attention. Apps are designed to keep you scrolling. Notifications pull your focus constantly. If you are not careful, technology control you. But disciplined learners control technology. They set boundaries. These choose educational contents intentionally. They protect their focus because focus is the foundation of learning. Technology is not just a tool, it is a new environment. And the people who understand this environment will thrive. Chapter 8: Stop consuming, start applying. Let's talk about a hidden trap in the self education world. It is called knowledge addiction. Some people consume endlessly information. Books, podcasts, video courses, they feel productive, they feel intelligent, but their lives never change. Why? Because they never apply what they learn. Knowledge without action becomes entertainment. True learning happens only when you do something with the knowledge. Let me tell you a short story. A young man spent years reading about business. He watched thousands of videos, read dozens of books, studied strategies, marketing, financing, entrepreneurship, but he never started anything. He kept preparing, kept researching, kept learning. Years passed. Meanwhile, another person read just a few books, watched a few tutorials, and started a small business. It was not perfect. He made mistakes, but he learned from experience. 5 years later, the second person was successful. The first person was still preparing. This is the difference between consumers and creators. Consumers absorb information, creators apply information, and application creates progress. The action rule: whenever you learn something new, ask one question: how can I use this today? Maybe you learned a communication technique. Practice it in conversation. Maybe you learned a productivity method. Test it tomorrow. Maybe you learned a business ideas. Experiment with it. Small actions build real understanding. Imperfect action beats perfect knowledge. Many people wait for perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect knowledge, but the perfection never arrives. Growth comes the experiment through experiments, trials, errors, adjustment, learnings. So remember this rule: knowledge becomes power only when it becomes action. Chapter 9: Thinking critically and avoiding misinformation. We are living in the information age, but strangely, we are also living in the age of misinformation. False news spreads quickly, opinions spread faster than facts. So, educating yourself daily requires more than just consuming information. It requires thinking critically, questions every day. When you hear a bold claim, pause, ask question: where did this information come from? Is there evidence? 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 Are there multiple perspectives? Curiosity protects you from manipulation. Avoid echo chambers. Many online platforms show you content similar to what you already believe. This creates echo chamber, places where you only hear opinions that agree you, but true education requires exposure to different viewpoints, different ideas, challenge your thinking. They strengthen your understanding. Seek reliable sources. Not every voice on the internet deserves your attention. Look for sources with credibility, experts, researchers, writers who provide evidence, because your mind is shaped by the information you consume. Feed it wisely. False information spreads quickly because people react emotionally. They share before thinking, they believe before questioning. But critical thinkers slow down. They analyze, they reflect, they verify. And this habit protects our intelligence. Education is not just about learning more, it is about thinking better. A final message. Right now, somewhere in the world, two people are finishing these audiobooks. One of them will close the video and go back to their old habits, scrolling, waiting, living the same year again and again. But the other person will decide something different. They will decide that learning never stops. They will open a book tomorrow, listen to a podcast during travel, practice a skill, study ideas, think deeply, little by little. Their minds will grow stronger, their knowledge will expand. Because education is not a single moment in life, it is a daily habit, a decision you make every day to become wiser, more capable, more aware. And if you keep that commitment, your future self will thank you, because the greatest investment you will ever make is the investment in your own mind. So start today. Learn something, read something, question something, build something, educate yourself every single day. And remember, keep trying, keep learning, and trust yourself.